Hello everyone, welcome back to our discussion on civil engineering project management. We'll be continuing with the fifth module, second part of fifth module, on a very interesting and very important topic called construction safety. And though it is given in the fifth module, it is of utmost importance. Okay, now, okay, then these are the various contents: safety in construction, safety measures in different stages of construction, implementation of safety program. We'll be looking at the first topic, safety in construction. And before we start, I would like to draw your attention to one of the newspaper reports which came almost 5 to 6 months back in Kerala Kaumudi, and reporting that some 6 workers believed to be Indians, they killed at Oman construction site. I'm not reading the report in detail. You can take time to read. A few Indians were working at a construction site in Oman. They lost their lives because of some accidents. And my idea of putting this particular newspaper report here is to tell you that uh, this is not the first time that we are seeing any of such accident cases, right? Very frequently we come across such construction accident cases either in television or in newspaper and all, right? But the question is how much importance we have paid to it, and that's a whole point of our discussion here. And it could range from life-threatening situations to some minor trivial injuries, right? Okay, and then I've given a few um, different types of events or specific events related to the construction accidents and all. Like, I'm not taking time. You can read it, okay? Just for the sake of reading. And safety in construction, there are some important facts, such as construction industry has one of the highest accident rates. You all know the reason, because uh, it is one of the industry having highest complexities in terms of the skilled and unskilled labor force, that too in very large numbers. And then they have very complex equipment and devices, tools, and then working environment, that too physically a challenging working environment, etc. And so all these things actually add to the safety accidents and unsafe conditions. And then very little data is available on the workers' health impact, because any of the construction activity will have some sort of impact on the workers. And these datas, some of the organizations may be reluctant to disclose these datas, thinking that it will be it will adversely affect their reputation. Therefore, getting these kind of data is also practically difficult. And there is a difference between following the law and making it a work culture, because the whole emphasis here in this topic is not about following any rules or laws related to safety and all. We're not emphasizing on that, though it is required. It is more on something called work culture and all. And safety and health, which have been secondary project objectives, but it is gaining importance today, as you all know. At one point, there was a time when project quality and project schedule was of utmost importance than anything else. And then we paid price for it, because that actually led to various accidents and unsafe conditions, and that adversely affected those projects severely. And then people started realizing that this also should be of our primary objective. And safety practices, they vary widely between companies in the same country as well as across country, and this actually depends on organization and their policy and all. And also at the same time, in some country and the country law, and then their preferences, etc. So there is some bare minimum safety safety criteria to be followed, and thereafter it is related to the organizations and their choices. Some terminologies like near miss, incident, accident, not sure whether I doubt whether we have discussed if you've discussed this topic last year or so in some of the classes. I'm not very sure about it. And here the accident, the accident is an unfortunate incident that happens unexpectedly and unintentionally, typically resulting in damage or injury. There is another term called incident, which is again an unplanned and undesired event that adversely affect the completion of a task. So incident affects a project, but not that person or the workforce. So that also will result into some sort of damages. It is called as a incident, and its severity ranges from near misses to fatal accidents. It is given by this, and this is the definition given by OSHO, means Organization of Safety and Health Administration. It is an organization in United States who takes care of the health and safety of the workers. And then near miss cases, it is an unplanned event that has the potential to cause but does not actually result in human injury, environment, equipment damage, etc. So nothing has happened, but we used to say like this: oh, luckily we escaped, there was a narrow escape and all. So such narrow escapes are called as, technically it is known as a near miss cases. So nothing has happened, but it could have resulted into some serious damage. And some people might have conducted various studies on this, on various construction projects on the safety aspects, and they came up with some interesting observation on it. It says, and there is this pyramid actually shows you some few numbers like 129, 300, and 300 corresponds to number of no damage or no injury cases, and corresponding to this 300 cases, non-damage cases, there is observed to be around 29 cases of minor accidents, and for 29 such cases there is at least one major accident was observed, corresponding to 29 minor accidents. And so this rule 1:29:300, this is some sort of empirical relationship which was established by observing various projects. So this is the whole point of discussion actually, that how significant is that no damage cases, what we are going to discuss here. What is that near miss? Near miss means it is an unplanned event. That definition we have already seen. Then only a fortunate break in the chain of events preventing an injury, fatality or damage. In other words, a miss that was nonetheless very less. See, this break in the chain means in safety, there is something called chain of events. See, everything, all our activities are interconnected. Okay, suppose we finish some job late, and because of which we are not able to, suppose if you take our own example, due to we watched cricket match, and because of which we couldn't study during the daytime, and then we kept all studies for the night, then we had to sit late night to finish our studies, because the other day next day we have an exam. So we were not able to, because we got we slept very late, we are not able to wake up early morning, and again because of which we missed our bus, and we had to make some other alternate arrangements to reach for the exam, and again because of which it delayed. So if finally everything got manifested in the examination hall because you reached late. Now if you trace it, you'll find that it all happened because it is a chain of events. Okay, it triggered from one place, and then final reflection was on some other places. So this kind of things happen. It's called as a chain of events, and if you are able to fortunately put a break on this chain, then we'll be able to curtail or prevent it from being passed down. Okay. So this is about the near miss cases, and a faulty process of management system invariably is the root cause for the increased risk. So if management system, if there is any lacunae, if there is any shortfall in that system, then that will surely it will have some safety related issues, okay, that will lead to some accident related issues that has a potential to cause some accidents. And other familiar terms for these events are close call, narrow escape, or in the case of moving objects, near collisions or near hit, etc. In the case of vehicles, this near collision, that word is used. And objectives of safety management is to help increase the speed of construction, yes, and to see objective of safety management is to benefit all the stakeholders involved in the project, right? That is a simple and straightforward answer. All the in the sense the client should be okay with that, the contractor and other players, everybody should be fine with that. So the speed of construction, that everybody looks for this, right? So for that we need to have some safety management systems, then to increase the standard of living of everybody. If you safety means that the whole team, or the every individual involved in that project must be having a better standard of living, to ensure that they have enough safety and health as an individual. And then to reduce the cost of construction. So if we don't take up the safety very seriously, then it will have some repercussions, in the sense there will be some accidents leading to damage, losses of life, or damage of materials, equipment, etc., which will involve cost. So therefore we have to resort to some practices which will be which will reduce the chances of these kind of losses, cost additions, and to conserve the available labor force by minimizing the idle time. So it is about the proper utilization of the available resources, and even underutilization and overutilization are not desirable here. And to reduce the human suffering in the sense, again, and it should be a very acceptable atmosphere in the project. Okay. Then principles of safety. Principles means the important fundamentals, like an unsafe act, unsafe condition, and accidents are all symptoms of something wrong in the management system. If anything goes wrong, so this is actually like an indicator. Like we used to say, a country's GDP goes up and down. So we used to say that when we observe such variations in GDP, we take it as an indicator, right? That's an indicator of a company's productivity and other things, how it is progressing, right? So in the same way, the safety is actually a kind of indicator of the management's functioning and system. Okay. Now we can predict certain set of circumstances we can predict certain sets of circumstances will produce severe incidents, and these circumstances can be identified and prevented. So this is the most important thing of any of the studies. The reason why we conduct we do research and studies are all because we will be able to make some conclusion, and you'll be able to deduce something out of which, and that will be the same we will be able to apply, so as to avoid any anything which unwanted thing, if that is the only way to prevent unwanted thing, right? Okay. Now the safety should be managed like any other company function. Usually safety is one of the departments in a construction project, right? Like a quality team, and then execution team, then cost control or QS team and all. Safety is another wing. There will be safety manager, and then there will be safety personnels, engineers and safety supervisors, etc. So they have a specific duty to perform. See, for a construction project and all, you have to get approval from safety engineers and safety supervisors before carrying out any piece of work. Not say for example, I'll tell. Suppose you want to do concreting of a for a column, then we'll do all the shuttering and then rebar work and all that, and finally, before pouring concrete, the engineer, quality engineer, has to come in. Site engineer has to come and confirm whether it can be, whether we can go with the concreting. So in such cases, the approval from site engineer alone is not sufficient. We need to get permission from safety engineer also. Sorry, safety supervisor or safety engineer also. Suppose if you're working in a inaccessible place, in such cases safety engineer will go and inspect the sufficiency of oxygen available there, and then they will give an approval for that. If not, you are not supposed to work. And sometimes what happens, these people, when you enforce safety in a construction project, sometimes it will appear as if we are working against the site pro execution team, because execution team is worried only about catching up with the schedule. So they have to work at a faster pace to quickly finish off their work. But the problem is, if they are not following their method statement properly, or if they are not doing things properly, then safety officials, they will try to intervene in that. So that will be there will be a headache for the construction execution team. So there will always be some conflict between safety team and the construction team, and safety job is sort of invisible job as far as my experience is concerned. It is something like a very invisible job, because everything is going fine and everything work will be going as usual, okay, and the safety engineer will be roaming around, and we'll feel like, okay, this person is not doing anything properly, and we won't even find the need for such a person in our project. But only when anything starts going wrong, at that time this particular staff will be held responsible for that. So then only we'll come to know how important that designation or that job is. Okay, now the functions of safety is to locate and define operational errors that allow accidents to occur, and this can be done in two ways: by asking why accident happened, root cause analysis, or asking whether certain known effective controls are being utilized. Okay, and safety system should fit into the culture of the organization. Every organization will have their own culture and their own behavior, organizational behavior and all. So that should be conducive, or that should be suiting to that organization or project. And management's job is to change the environment that leads to unsafe behaviors. And finally, this is the only thing which I wanted to tell you. Like, the whole point of all the whole discussion that we had so far about safety, and we are going to have in the upcoming videos and all. The final single thing which as a faculty I would like to convey you is that safety is a culture. So if you do not remember the names of any of the PPE, personal protection equipment and all, that's fine. But if you don't understand this very fundamental idea, the most important the point of this topic, that the safety is a culture, then that may not be really complete. The whole knowledge will be incomplete. And how do near miss reporting system prevent future incidents? I think many safety activities are reactive and not proactive, and some organizations, they wait for losses to occur before taking up steps to prevent the recurrence. I think these are simple language. I'm not taking time. You can read and understand. Okay, I am purposefully I'm skipping this because I expect you to read and understand this. If you find any difficulty, I will help you with that. And these are the causes of accident. There is a spelling mistake. Causes of accidents like broadly categorized into physical causes, then physiological causes, and psychological causes. So these are the various causes of physical, and okay, I don't think it requires any explanation. Okay, now we will continue with in a next video. Okay, uh,